everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here, a very, very warm welcome to you. My name's Emily and I am a knitter, crocheter and very occasional sewer. Today's episode is my usual podcast, so I'll be covering any updates, any finished objects, any works in progress that I've worked on in the last week or so, any cast-ons and any acquisitions. Before we get started, how are we all today? I hope that you're all doing well and that you've had a lovely week so far. My week has been filled with trying to get things ready for next week because we are going away. It is the 24-hour of Le Mans, not this weekend, but next weekend. So we're going away and we're going to be camping, so it kind of requires a lot of stuff to be gathered. Make sure we've got everything that we need. I mean, it's no big problem if we haven't, because we can always buy stuff when we get there if we've forgotten anything drastic. But yeah, it's manic at the minute trying to get ready for it all, but I am extremely excited and yeah, I'm really excited. Right, I'm going to get started because I do have a fair amount to cover today, so I want to make sure that I don't drag it out, if you will. So we're going to start with updates, and the first update is along the vein of me going away. So I will not be here next week when I record my usual podcast, so there will not be a weekly podcast for you next week. However, I am going to try my best and I'm going to try to film my episode 5 of Behind the Scenes. Now, I was kind of hoping to have recorded it by now, but I haven't actually received the clue 5 for my Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery quilt. For those of you who have been watching along with my behind the scenes, you'll know why I've held off for that clue, and it's because I have done the Puzzle Mystery quilt clue with every single episode. I started it with that and I want to do every single episode doing those clues. So that is why I am holding off filming it at the moment, and I'm running out of days in which I can actually film it now. I was hoping to film it the weekend just gone, but it hadn't arrived, which is fine, but it hadn't arrived, so I couldn't. And then I was hoping to film it on Wednesday, yesterday, for me, which is why I've delayed filming this podcast. Honestly, it's a bit ridiculous. Because I'm filming this on Thursday. Obviously you're seeing this Friday, but I do film my podcasts a little bit in advance just to give me editing time, filming time and all of that. So just to make sure I can get it to you in time, basically. But yeah, I still haven't had the clue, and it's Thursday today, Thursday the 6th of June. So I'm really, really hoping that it comes through tomorrow because, as I say, I'm running out of days where I've got a free day that I can dedicate to be a crafty day. So I'm really hoping that I can film it this weekend. That being said, that's probably a bit stupid of me because I need to pack. And the weekend is the only 2 free days that I have left to pack for Le Mans now. So cutting it a bit fine, we shall see. It might be a bit chaotic, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to film it because I would like that episode to be the video that you get next week. So if all goes to plan and if all goes well, fingers crossed, you will have an episode next week. So I believe that's 14th of June at 4 p.m, which is my usual schedule. Fluff, my apologies. That's my usual schedule, but as I say, because there isn't going to be a podcast, I'm hoping that Behind the Scenes episode 5 will be the video that you will get next Friday. So bear with me on that. I'm going to do my best, as I say, reliant upon when that clue comes through. Fingers crossed it comes through in time. If not, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So I might have to think of something else to film, but I'll keep you posted and I'll see what I can do. Anyway, that is the update on Behind the Scenes. One other little update, just to try and, because this is going to be the last video before I go, in terms of me being able to get comments from you, I am trying to decide what project to cast on to take with me, because I did this last year, and when I went to Le Mans last year, I actually cast on a pair of socks, which I took with me and I worked exclusively on while I was there. So, a pair of socks is great, but I'm going to try something a little bit different this year, and there's 2 projects that I've got in mind for it. So I want to get your thoughts on them, and I want to see which one you would prefer me to work on. So I'm going to put this to yourselves to see which one I should cast on for Le Mans. Bear in mind, I'm probably not going to be able to do a lot of work on the project, but they're projects that are in the queue anyway, and they're small enough projects, they're one skein projects, so they're the ones that I am tossing up as to whether or not to take with me. So without further ado, project number one that I am pondering is, oh gosh, the pattern is written all over. Complete and utter. Here we go. Okay. Unfortunately, the picture's not great, but because the really nice picture that I want to show you of the actual shawl, it has the pattern on it. So wait, hang on. I tell you what, actually, I'm going to fold the paper. Bear with me. Hang on. Just trying to. There we go. Okay, right. I can show you now. So project number one that I would like to cast on, possibly for Le Mans, and that you can vote on, is the Do Not Disturb shawl by Louise Tilbrook. This is what it looks like. Can you see that? I hope you can. I can't see what you're looking at. There we go. Yes, you can. So this is project number one. It looks quite a simplistic project. So I'm thinking it's going to be quite nice to knit on in the car. I believe Anne of Toby Knits has made a number of these, and it looks fairly simplistic to make. So I think it'll be all right for car knitting. I think it'll be all right for knitting trackside. Who knows? That's my plan. This is project number one. So the yarn is this absolutely gorgeous skein of yarn. It is by Adacairn Yarns. I believe they're based in Wales. I could be incorrect, but Adacairn Yarns. I will link their website below so you can have a little look at them. But this was a lovely skein of yarn that was bought for me by my sister, and she bought me two actually, but this one is the one that I want to cast on first because I just absolutely love these sort of purples and blues that are going on in this. I think it's beautiful. It's a very interesting makeup of yarn. It is fingering weight. It is a single, so it is a single ply. Don't know if you can see that. It is a single ply skein of yarn. It is 65% superwash merino, 20% silk and 15% yak. It is also 120 grams. So I'm quite excited. The colourway is called Claymore. So if I show you that is the makeup of the yarn. It's beautiful. It's so soft and just lush. That is the front of the label, Adacairn Yarns. It's just gorgeous. So this is what I will be using for this project. And this is option number one for me to cast on for my project while I'm away next week. Option number one. My apologies, everyone. There might be a slight change in the background and the lighting because I have just come to edit my video and only the first section that I recorded had sound. The rest did not. So I'm really hoping that this section has sound. There's not really any way for me to tell because it tells me that the external mic, it's recording sound through the external mic, and sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, that was fun. Take two for me anyway. Right, so I did run upstairs earlier and I grabbed what I needed. I've just got to find it now because everything has moved. So option one, I've already shown you, and this is option two for a project to cast on and take with me to Le Mans next week. So the pattern is called Starfall and it is by Michelle Lee Bernstein. And here it is. Isn't that gorgeous? I am absolutely in love with this design. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It is designed to work with assigned pooling yarn. So love it. Massive, massive excitement from me. Now, I do have some yarn that I dyed as part of my little hand-dyed yarn business that is technically assigned pooling. I wanted to have a little bit of an experiment and I dyed this up. And it basically is designed to work with assigned pooling projects. Now, this is obviously a swatch, So I basically have a skein of yarn from every yarn that I dye that I basically set aside for myself so I can have a play with it. I will always knit a swatch from it, so here it is. And then I will use the rest of the yarn for a project, for a sample, just so that I can get used to how it works up and things like that really. And also I'm very excited to knit with this one. This colourway is called Who Needs Wings, and all of my yarn is designed, so my little business is called Apex Yarn, and all of my colourways are inspired by motorsport. So this colourway in particular is inspired by the Peugeot hypercar that debuted last year, and this was the grey and kind of funky green/yellow neon hits of colour, and it was a gorgeous car. Now it's called Who Needs Wings because last year the car didn't have a rear wing, so it's quite unusual for that kind of car. In fact, it was the only hypercar that did not have a rear wing, so that's why I called it Who Needs Wings, because at one race in particular it was performing really well without that rear wing, but I believe there were stability issues, which you would expect. So this year it now has a rear wing, but I am affectionately leaving this colourway name as Who Needs Wings. So there it is. And this is the colour that I would like to use. I mean, I'm going to do this anyway at some point, but it's just whether or not I cast it on for my project for Le Mans. So there it is. That's project option number 2. So let me know in the comments below which project you think I should cast on for Le Mans and knit while I am there. Option number 1, which I will remind you, was Do Not Disturb Shawl by Louise Tilbrook. Now this one is going to be a much simpler knit. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking maybe this one, but I just don't want to wreck the yarn, if that makes sense, because it's going to be wet, it's going to be grim, you know, we're going to be camping, so it's probably not the best project to take with me because this yarn is quite luxurious. But that is option number 1. Option number 2, as you've just seen, is this lovely one here, and I think this one would be fun because obviously this is a motorsport inspired colourway and it's a motorsport event I'm going to, so it kind of makes sense. But I do feel like the pattern might be a little bit complicated for where I'm going. So that is option number 2. As I say, let me know below which one you think I should cast on. Option number 1 or option number 2. All right, let's move those out the way and get stuck into the crafty goodness again. Thankfully, sorry, move that there. Thankfully, I didn't move a single thing. Everything is still here, albeit a bit dishevelled and, you know, all over the place. But I haven't moved any stitch markers or anything like that. So it's as it was. I made the right decision. So we're going to start with finished objects, are we? I've completely forgot where we are. Yes, we're going to start with finished objects. All right, I haven't actually looked at all the footage and I'm pretty sure I've done the updates. My apologies if I haven't done the updates. There will be a little snippet at some point, just in case. Finished objects, there are none this week, not a single one, but I was close on 2 and you'll see those shortly. So, works in progress. I do have quite the number to show you this week. I started off, before recording this video, thinking I haven't done a lot this week, there's not a lot to show you, but actually there's a lot to show you. So, I've left my cup of tea over there, mistakes have been made, but we're going to power through. The first item that I have to show you that I worked on last week is, as you will most likely know, is the gorgeous Sweet Shop Blanket by Laura Penrose. I love this project. It is definitely one of my favourites, and it is definitely a long-term whip. This is going to take me a while, so you're going to see this a lot. So I hope I'm not boring you by going over it so much. But what have I done? I had done up to here, so I'd picked up the colour and then I'd started on the white colour, and I'd now, since then, I have finished that square, and then I've picked up for another square, and I've only just changed to the white colour, and I've got to be really careful because I'm about to drop a stitch. But that is all I have done. I have decided with this project, if I can at least finish one square a week, I'm happy, because as I said, this is definitely a long-term whip. It's not going to be finished anytime soon, but I do enjoy working on it. It is so much fun, and there are some weeks where I will just plough ahead, but the weather is getting warmer and I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to plough ahead with it at the speed I was. But the lovely coloured yarn that I'm using, it is fingering weight held double. The entire blanket is fingering weight held double. The coloured yarns are hand dyed by the wonderful Attic Spin Dye. They are their Beatrix Potter Club colourways. So I believe those were the colourways from last year and the year before. They were a 12-month subscription and they're just gorgeous. I love them. So yeah, it's just beautiful. The neutral colour is just undyed skeins of yarn. And yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful. I do highly recommend this pattern. If you have scraps lying around, if you have advent projects or anything like that, do highly recommend this project. The other thing I highly recommend is sewing in your ends as you go, because I made that mistake, which I'm sure you would expect I would, and there are a lot of ends to do. I have been quite good and sewn in quite a few, so there are patches on the blanket where the ends are sewn in, but yes, I did make the mistake of not sewing them in as I went, so I do highly recommend doing that. But yes, gorgeous, gorgeous blanket. I absolutely love it. It's just one of my favourite projects, I've got to say, and it's going to be definitely a favourite project when it's finished as well, because I am going to cuddle under that like anybody's business. It's going to be wonderful. All right, the next item on the list is the lovely, as I said, everything is all over the place, so please bear with me. The next item is the gorgeous Plumeria Tank Top by Along Avec Anna, and I have been really loving this project. This is my bedtime knitting, so it doesn't get a lot of love. I basically, let's try that again. Although this is take two, I'm still struggling. This project is my bedtime knitting, so when I go to bed, I usually prop up my Kindle on a pillow and I will knit on a simple project. This is just knitting in the round. At the minute, I am rereading, which book is it? I think it's book number 5 of the Bridgerton books. The Francesca's one. I did reread the book number 4, is it? Book number 4. Yeah, I reread book number 4 before series 3 of Bridgerton came out, because book number 4 is the Penelope Collin book, and obviously season 3 of Bridgerton is the Penelope Collin story. It's very, very different to the book, but you know, it's interesting nonetheless. So I reread that, and then I thought I'm going to reread one of my favourite ones, and I am rereading Francesca's book. So anyway, that is what I'm reading at the minute while I am knitting on this. But I've been extremely tired, so I haven't been knitting as much on this. I don't know why I went on that tangent, but there we are, a little insight into what I'm reading at the minute. But yes, I love, 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 love this project. It is absolutely wonderful, and I am so close now. I'm really, really close. So I am on the last grey that I'm going to be knitting. Then I switch back to this lovely sort of greeny bluey colour, do a couple of rows in that, and then I switch to ribbing, and then I'm casting off. So, I mean, it looks really small there, but when I hold it up against one of my tops, it actually makes sense. If I hold it up against me, I don't know if I want to knit a bit more, actually. I did try it on earlier. No, actually that should be okay. So what I might do actually is when I get to the point where I'm going to be changing to ribbing, I'm going to put it on a barber cord, try it on, and just double check that the length is where I want it. If it is, then I'm on the ribbing and all good. Then all I need to do is pick up the sleeves and knit the ribbing on those. I might do some blocking here and there because I am not convinced that the size of these armholes is going to be covering much, let's just put it that way. So I might have to amend the ribbing a little bit, and I just want to double check that it is the right size for me as well. But yes, absolutely gorgeous project, and I think it's going to look absolutely beautiful on. It is just, it's just lovely, isn't it? It's so nice. I love these colours. But yes, what else did I need to say? Yes, so this is where I got to last week, just this one here. So I've done a little bit, just a little bit. I could have done more, but I didn't. So there we are, the Plumeria Tank Top by Along Avec Anna. The yarn I am using is also by Along Avec Anna, and there we are. get the right ones. It is the Double Merino by Along Avec Anna. The grey colour is called Louvre. There you go. And then the lovely sort of bluey, greeny colour is called Celadon. Again, this is the Double Merino by Along Avec Anna, and it's called Celadon. Gorgeous colours, lovely, really lovely yarn to work with, to be honest. It's lovely. It's not as soft to the touch as I thought it was going to be, but the more I knit on it and the more I squish it, the more I'm like, yes, this is lovely. It's gorgeous yarn. And as I say, it's a dream to work with. It's lovely. So yeah, there we are, the Plumeria Tank Top by Along Avec Anna. It's not much to look at the minute, but it will be beautiful, I promise. All right, now on to the next one, which I've thrown halfway across the room. Bear with me. Deary me. Okay, so this, oh gosh, I'm pulling the yarn. There we go. This is the Sacred Woods sweater by Janine Miska. This is a crochet sweater. Now, for those who have been here a little while, you know that I am not very comfortable crocheting garments. I'm okay crocheting, obviously, the Toft stuff, as you can see up there. I love that. And I'm okay crocheting things like wraps or shawls or something like that. But when it comes to actual wearables, like garments, I'm a bit nervous because I can't get the gauge right. I tried my best with this. I got as close as I could, and I've changed the size of my hook to hopefully be correct, as close as possible. But I do still think this is going to come out a little bit big widthways. I feel like my stitch count might have been right, but then my row count was probably out. I think that could have been how it was, but either way, I'm going to plough ahead. I'm not going to get better unless I try. So this project has come together quite quickly, so I'm not too fussed if I do need to rip it out and start again and do a smaller size, or, you know, rethink the hook situation. I don't know, but that is where we're at. It's all right, it's going well. The interesting thing about this project is you crochet along this side, and then it's going to be worn the other way. So it's just really fascinating, and I was really drawn to it. So fingers crossed I can get it right and it's not going to swamp me, but we shall see. Where have I got to? I think you did just see, but here was where I got to the last time you saw it. So I've done a decent chunk. As you can see, the rows are actually quite long because you're crocheting from the front all the way around to the back. So it's quite a long amount of fabric that you're crocheting, but it's lovely all the same. I love the stitch, and it's really effective when it's held that way. I really like it. So yeah, I'm really close now on the body. So once I've done the body, I just need to do the ribbing for the neck, the ribbing for the bottom, and then I just need to do the sleeves. Hopefully, as long as it fits okay. The yarn I'm using is Paintbox yarn, and it's wool blend worsted. It is 25% wool, 75% acrylic, and it is in shade 21. It's really nice. I like this colour. I've got a thing for blue. Blue and me, I went through a phase where all of my clothes were blue. And one of my friends told me, you need to buy some other colours. So I'm wearing blue at the minute. I've got blue trousers on. Red socks though. But yeah, she was like, we need to branch you out a little bit. So I ended up buying a green sweater, which was very different for me. But yeah, you may have noticed I am quite a lover of blue, but I do try. But yes, that is the Sacred Woods sweater by Janine Miska. Excuse the very unattractive project bag, but needs must, right? We've got reusing things. All right, so that is why it ended up over there, by the way. The next item I have on my list that I worked on in the last week is the absolutely gorgeous Rad Plaid Cowl. I adore this project, and I am getting pretty close now, I think. If I put this around my neck, if I stretch it, it touches. So I obviously don't want it that tight, but I think I'm getting there. So I need to dig out the pattern and see what Andrea recommends in terms of the length. So this is the Rad Plaid Cowl by Andrea Mowry. That is where I got to the last time. So as you can see, I've done quite a few rounds. I'm really, really pleased with that. I do absolutely adore this project. I don't work on it anywhere near enough as I should because, as I say, I am really getting close now, and it is just such a beautiful effect. I think it's just such a gorgeous fabric that it creates. The yarn I'm using is by the absolutely wonderful Boscastle yarn, and I'm using 3 different yarns from her for this fabric. So this is the first one. This is called Gorse and Granite, and it's just beautiful. It's this white with these specks of yellow and black. Just absolutely gorgeous yarn. I love it. It is fingering weight, and it is 75%, yep, 75% merino, 25% nylon. The other fingering weight yarn that I'm using is this gorgeous green. I love this colourway so much. I'm going to take the label out of this one because I know this one's not as bent as the last one. I do mistreat my labels. I don't mean to, but here we are. This is Boscastle yarn. Tanya's yarn is absolutely gorgeous. I sing her praises every week. But yes, that is Boscastle yarn, and the colourway is Valency Valley for that one. Oops. Can't get that back in. There we go. So that is that absolutely gorgeous green. The final colour that I'm using is this gorgeous Surrey alpaca. It is 74% baby Surrey alpaca and 26% mulberry silk. And it's gorgeous. I love it so much. And this one is called Crowdy. It's just beautiful. I love it. And those 3 are being used in conjunction, and they create this absolutely beautiful fabric. It's just so, so lovely. It's such a clever design, this. I really like it. It is a labour of love, but it is very intuitive once you get it into your head. I haven't looked at the pattern since I started it, basically, because it just, once it's in there, it all makes sense and you can just carry on and plough on with it. So that is the Rad Plaid Cowl by Andrea Mowry. All right, so we are on to the cheeky cast on that I cast on last week. So I have been trying my best to get these 12 Birds of Christmas done. I think I started them last year in May. So we're over a year in and I have not finished them still. But I have decided that, you know, that's got to change. I've got to finish them. I think I'm missing a limb. Am I? No, I'm not. I've got them all. Okay, so last week you saw that I'd done the head and the body, and I believe I'd done a leg, and I just started on leg number 2. Leg number 2 is now finished, so I've got all of these lovely colours. I think this is a beautiful colour. Then I've done the 2 wings, so those are done as well, and I am just working on the beak. So after I've done the beak, so let me try and hold all of those together. Those are all the parts so far. This is not going well. There we go. All the parts so far. Oh yeah, you can see that. There we go. So after I've done the beak, all I need to do is do the tail. And then I think there's like a crest that goes on the top of the head. So I think what I'll do is once I've done the beak, I'll sew it all together and then do the eyes, and then I'll sort the crest out on the top of the head, and then that will be finished. I say that like it's going to happen really fast, but if you all remember the wonderful episodes of Lois the Cormorant, she was completed, but she stayed in bits for probably a couple of months. So hopefully that will not happen with this one. Hopefully Agnes, once I finish the parts, I will actually sew her together pretty quick. That's the plan, because I need to get them done. It is getting crunch time now. It's got to happen. It's all right. I just thought my washing line had broke then, but no, we're fine. It's all good. Right, okay, on to the next work in progress. This is the last project that I picked up last week. And this was part of when I did my works in progress, I said that I really want to start picking up items that I've not worked on in a while and actually start putting some work into them, essentially. So this project is one of those, and they are the lovely Honey It's Cold Out socks by Anne Hunt of Toby Knits. And it's about time I picked these up, actually. If I show you where I got to the last time, I got to here, and I just need it. I've just finished the foot and the toe. And then I've also cast on For the next one, and I've proper cast on as well because I've finished the leg and I'm actually working on the heel flap. So it's absolutely brilliant. So this design is absolutely gorgeous. Anne very, very, very kindly gifted this to me and I absolutely love it. I really do, but I have been shameful of me. I never got them finished, as you can see, but I basically got very distracted. And I think because I was working on 9-inch circular needles, I don't knit socks as quickly on 9-inch circular needles, and I think that was frustrating me. So I then swapped back into the magic loop method and I'm knitting them so much faster. So this design, as you can see, has this beautiful honeycomb pattern that then decreases to a single honeycomb, which then continues, I'll take this off here, show you properly, which then continues down the front of the sock until the decreases for the toe. This toe was really interesting. I've never decreased a toe like that before. So it was decreases spread evenly throughout, which I thought was really fascinating. So yeah, I have really enjoyed making this sock. I'm hoping it's not too small for me. I have tried them on, they're fine, but they look really small to me. Quite big feet, I've got to say. But yes, my little efforts had me finish this sock and I'm quite far away through this sock. So I'm really, really pleased with myself. But yes, these are the Honey It's Cold Out socks by Anne Hunt of Toby Knits. The yarn is by Botanical Yarn. However, I don't have a colour name for you because this was part of the mystery skein grab bags that she does, that Sophie does, and called Lonely Skeins. That's it. I couldn't for the life of me remember. So they're the Lonely Skein bags, and yeah, they just didn't have a label with it. It was fingering weight, sock yarn, just no label of colourway. I think they're like more tester yarns and stuff like that, possibly, I could be mistaken, or end of the line, but either way, absolutely gorgeous. I love it, and I think this colourway really suits the style of the sock. So yeah, really, really pleased with those, and I'm really pleased that I pulled them out and actually did some work on them. So that is those. Right, we are now on to cast-ons, and I do have to say, I do have a cast-on to show you. There is a very good reason for this, and I have no regrets. The reason I have cast this on is because it is a gift project, and I really, really needed to cast this on sooner than later because my friend has been waiting long enough. I mean, she hasn't mentioned it since me saying I will do it for her, but enough's enough. I want to get this done and I want to get it gifted to her. So I have cast on the lovely Dotty Cardigan by All About Amy. I have made 3 of these and I've loved them. Every single one that I've made, I've loved them. 2 have been gifts, 1 has been for myself. I will be making myself another one in this colour because I absolutely adore this colour. But yeah, this one is for my friend. So if I hold this up, I have finished the ribbing. Now, I have put a stitch marker in because this is actually the project I started working on while I was editing my video. And when I realised that the sound had gone. So I managed to get a couple of rows in. So you'll have to excuse those couple of rows. I might move the stitch marker again, actually, just so that they're not there for next week. But yeah, I'll move the stitch marker. But yeah, that's what I've done so far. This is the back panel. So once I've done the back panel, I will then do the 2 front panels, stitch it all together, do the arms, and then do the button band, which isn't actually a button band because there's no buttons. I suppose you could put buttons on, but yeah, that is where I'm at. Bear with me. The yarn I am using is Stylecraft Special Chunky. It is 100% acrylic and it is in the shade Parchment. Now this yarn I have used for every single cardigan, the Dotty cardigans that I have made. This is the yarn that I've used and I absolutely love it. It's really soft, it's just gorgeous, it's really cozy to wear, so absolutely love it. That's why I'm using it again, because it's the best. Right, so that is the cast on. Right, okay, we are now on to acquisitions. I do have a bit of sad news because I think I mentioned it last week. I ordered loads of yarn to make loads of projects from my new Nightmare Before Christmas knitting book. But as I mentioned last week, the order, I was tracking it and the courier basically said on, I think it was Tuesday, I got a message to say that it was delayed, which is fine, got no issues. However, that message is still the same this week. So I checked with the courier and they said that you need to get in contact with the seller to say, this is what's happening, can you chase it up with the courier, and then we can find out what's going on, so on and so forth. So I got in touch with them yesterday, I think it was, with the seller yesterday, and just sort of said, this is what's happening, would you mind just chasing it up with the courier, because I've got a feeling it's a lost parcel and I'm a bit worried. So they said absolutely no problem at all, and they have been chasing it up for me. They've messaged me today to give me a status update. The courier still hasn't got back to them, so they can't really give me any further idea as to what's happening. I'm convinced the parcel has gone walkabouts, personally, which obviously you can't really help these things. They do happen. It's a bit frustrating and it's a little bit sad for me, because I was very excited to get the yarn and to perhaps even start some of the projects. 2 of them are going to be gifts, and the rest are basically decor for the house that I kind of want to have behind me around Christmas time. One of them was the snake for the bottom of the Christmas tree. So yeah, I would kind of like to get them sooner than later, but you know, I'm going to leave it with the shop just to see how they get on, and then I'll probably chase it up next week, just to see if they haven't given me any status updates. Next week I'll chase it up with them again and then see what my options are. But yeah, that is a little bit of sad news. As I say, I was kind of hoping to be able to have that this week, but sadly it is a no. But never mind, that is fine. Okay, so I have ordered from Fred Aldis, I think. There's a shop in Manchester, and Toft basically did some 2 kits specifically for that shop, and Michelle messaged me last week and was like, oh, the pre-orders are up, you know, for these mystery kits. So I got very excited and I did place a pre-order for the kits. The kits have been revealed and they have been dispatched to me today, so I'm super excited. I will obviously show you those when I am back from Le Mans, because they're going to arrive at some point and I'm really excited to show you them. But that is an order that's coming. However, I do have one thing to show you, and that is the Toft Quarterly for summer 2024. I saw this on the table when I was at Kew Gardens 2 weeks ago, and I just could not resist placing an order for this book. And I think you can see why. Look at this. How gorgeous is that? It is just the cutest thing ever. So this is actually a bag, and the mouth has a zip. I can show you the back as well. I mean, look. Oh, it's just the sweetest thing. So yeah, I just had to buy it for this pattern because it's wonderful. I mean, there are some absolutely gorgeous patterns in here anyway. I do like the Toft Quarterly magazine. I don't buy it too often, but this one I had to get because that is just gorgeous. So that is my acquisition this week. Other than that, not a lot. I did buy some fabric, but I've put it away in here, and yeah, sadly that is the case. But you will be seeing some of the fabric. Some of the fabric I can't show you because it's going to be a gift, but some of the fabric I can, and I do have some plans because, as you may know, because I mentioned it last week in my month-end wrap-up video, I hit 1,000 subscribers. So, well, it was last weekend and I'm still buzzing from it. I can't believe it. So thank you all once again so much, whether you have been with me from the start, whether you joined partway through, or even if you're new. Thank you so much. It absolutely means just the world to me. I still don't have words. Not the proper words anyway, just stutterings. But I am so grateful for all of your support. It really has meant the world to me, and I never imagined I would be in this position. It's just so humbling, and I really do appreciate it. All of your comments, all of your likes on my videos, yeah, thank you so much. I am planning a little something, so I will update you as and when that progresses, but stay tuned for that. There will be a little something coming as a massive thank you. So yeah, I am going to leave that there. And as I say, I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much for watching, as always. I hope you have a wonderful week and weekend. I hope you have a wonderful week next week as well. I will be back the week after with a proper podcast update. But as I say, Next week, I am hoping to get a behind the scenes episode to you in place of my usual podcast. So have an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.